this is what we've got from McShay's big board. As you can see there, he thinks that Chase Young is the best player in this draft. And if you talk to, and I've spoken to many in NFL circles, and Schefter, you probably have too, that say that Chase Young, exactly, it might be the best player in this draft. So we've been trying to throw around some things where we would see potentially Joe Burrow not go number 1 overall. Is that a thing that could happen where Joe Burrow would not go number 1 overall to the Bengals?
This looks a little bit like a repeat of last year, right? Kyler Murray and Nick Bosa. It really does.
Also kind of out of nowhere, the rise of the quarterback. Sorry.
Yeah. Saying that, you can pencil in Joe Burrow to Cincinnati right now. In fact, if you want to put it on the bottom line, news editors in Bristol, if you want to put it, Adam Schefter reports that the Bengals are expected to take Joe Burrow at 1, go right ahead.
You use the R word. Reports.
See, this is fascinating to me because there are so many possibilities out there.
Yeah.
Okay, I was on a radio show in Miami this week, and they were talking about how they've got the 3 first-round picks this year, and the owner might be enamored of Joe Burrow, and they've got a lot to trade, and there are other quarterbacks people are interested in. So if they pick up the phone and they call Cincinnati and they start offering first-round picks, what happens?
Right. Joe Burrow is going to go number 1 in this draft. If the Carolina Panthers call, Joe Burrow is going to go number 1 in the draft. No matter who calls, I believe Joe Burrow is going to go number 1 in this draft. He's slated to go to the Cincinnati Bengals. I can't see a scenario under which the Bengals don't follow up on that and listen to one of these calls and listen to the Dolphins and listen to the Panthers and listen to whoever else calls to get Joe Burrow in there. Joe Burrow is going to be the number 1 pick in this upcoming draft.
And Cincinnati will make it.
And Cincinnati will make that number 1 pick, yes.
Okay, that's so because I feel like there's going to be a lot of speculation between now and then.
Well, let's stop it.
Okay, so let's get Schefter on camera. Say that again because we missed that. Go ahead.
You don't have to speculate on any trades. Okay, I don't care what anybody says. I know they're going to say, I'm telling you, they're holding on to the pick, and they're going to take Joe Burrow at number 1. Because all the stars aligned in just the right way, the 49ers got the player at number 2 that they were praying that they would get at number 1, but were too good and played themselves out of the number 1 slot into number 2. But because someone in their division fired their head coach, changed coach, decided not to stick with Josh Rosen, that enabled Nick Bosa to fall to the 49ers, which enabled the 49ers to be in this year's Super Bowl.
It begs an interesting question. Obviously, the 49ers are in the Super Bowl, but they were, well ahead of where Arizona was at this point last year. Taking everything else out of the equation, would you rather have on your team Nick Bosa or Kyler Murray?
Kyler Murray. Yeah, I think it's so hard. Kyler Murray I don't think we appreciate how well he did this season, and I was very critical of the Kingsbury hire, but it seems like Kingsbury has learned and adjusted his scheme, and Kyler Murray is that talented. If you can get a franchise quarterback, frankly, if you can get a mid-tier to upper mid-tier quarterback, that's better. Unfortunately, it's sad, but true. That's more valuable to your team than potentially a future Hall of Fame or defensive end. So if the quarterback's there and you trust him and you like him, the way the league is going, it's better to have him than it is to have a pass rusher who may go to the Pro Bowl every year.
That question's got some recency bias to it because Nick Bosa is now playing in the Super Bowl, and so you'd say, well, you should take Nick Bosa. But Kyler Murray had some traits and characteristics that seem to be special this year, and we don't know whether those will blossom and continue to develop. It sure looks like they have a chance to, and if he continues on a trajectory, I think Nick is right. You always take the quarterback. You want to side to the quarterback. But Nick Bosa is a special player, too.
I think this is a sign of what I think somebody thinks of Kyler Murray, Larry Fitzgerald. The fact that he keeps coming, he's coming back.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, playing all these years. I mean, he's excited to play with Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray had a really good year with a team that, quite frankly, isn't that talented. So, Nick Bosa is fantastic. But he's also playing on the defensive line with like 3 other first-round picks.
Just to make the argument on the other direction, it's higher risk going after a quarterback. Like it's rarer, much rarer to have a guy who dominates in college like that, or like Young is, and he comes into the league and then does not translate. It's not rare to have a number 1 or a first-round quarterback come in and then stink. So if you want to take some of the risk out of it, I think it might be a less risky decision to go with that guy than to go with the guy who we didn't even think was a draftable quarterback last year, and now all of a sudden it's going to be first-round overall.
We're so glad you're watching ESPN on YouTube.
For more sports, highlights, and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app.
And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus. We'll see you there.